Good evening, my fine folks, friends, and foes. My name is Octavian, and it is 3:35 in the morning, but I'm not going to let that stop me. We've got an episode of Price Check to start here, and presumably also finish, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let me grab a few more wisdom scrolls. We're going to need a lot of these bad boys. So, you guys know the drill, but for those of you who do not, Price Check is an episodic series in which I try to teach price checking through example. I am going to be IDing this whole tab worth of gear right here, also nicely and neatly arranged for you friends, and price checking it live on air, and then, trying to get it sold. And hopefully we find a few decent items in this pile of garbage, but most of it is probably going to be garbage. So let's start with no further ado. I am loving the new league so far. I'm loving going into a life meta. And one of the things that I absolutely love about a new league is having to learn what is valuable and what is not anymore. So I've already made a few learning mistakes. But those are the best kind of mistakes to make. Alright, let's see. That is not really worth much. Good attack speed roll, though. On a claw like this, you're probably looking for attack speed, fizz damage, maybe crit, those sorts. Basically, if somebody's using a rare claw, then they're looking for a really, really good rare claw, because there's a lot of unique claws that you'd want to use otherwise. Things like Touch of Anguish and all that. To sell a rare claw, this is why you probably shouldn't pick up a lot of claws, if any at all. To sell a rare claw, it has to be very, very, very good. It's sort of the situation I've talked about with Imbued Wand, where there's a possibility that what you pick up is going to sell for a lot of money, but most of the time it's not going to sell for anything because it has to be extremely good to sell. Life resist on like day 1, maybe day 2 of the league this could have sold, but at this point this is probably not going to. Honestly though, we could still maybe sell this for a chaos. On second thought, like, that's a lowish life roll, especially with the mods, with the fact that life rolls are now just in general higher with the changes in 3.0. The life regen and accuracy rating are both incredibly bricky. If this has space for a resist, which I think it does if I remember my prefixes and suffixes right, this might still sell to someone who's just looking for a quick and dirty 1C item. Crit multi, dex, life, these are all things you want to see. Life roll's kind of low. Dex is honestly not that important. Probably want to see a resistance instead. Dex is a suffix, so yeah. No life, no sale, not very synergistic. Tornado Wand, I'm not sure why I picked this up. Tornado Wand is not a great base. I don't really want to be picking those up too often. 80 life is a really good roll in an amulet, and that caught my attention immediately. 21 int can be passable as well, but it would need also to have at least one resist. If this had just one resist in the 30 plus range, this is sellable, but sadly no. It's also not on a great base. Nobody really wants a gold amulet. Because if you're magic finding, you're wearing Piscos in your amulet slot. You're not looking for a rare. Tried. Cold damage to attacks is actually somewhat valuable this league, at least right now, because Frostblades is in the meta. And it's also a good ES roll, and other than that, pretty bad, so, yeah. Crit multi, I didn't really talk about this, there's nothing going on here. It's a good crit multi and nothing else. Well, actually, it's not a bad accuracy roll, too, but damage rolls are not as important as defensive rolls. I would much rather have life and a good resist than having good crit multi and good accuracy, though, of course, all of that together, you got your hands on something real valuable. No thank you. No thank you. Something you can do is hold on to your jewels instead of vendoring them, and then vendor them together in a 5-for-1, and you get more shots at getting decent jewels, but I don't have the patience for that. You should probably do it. Do as I say, not as I do. 20 move speed, caught my attention. Other than that, not good. Crit multi. Again, okay. Bad accuracy this time, though. Nothing else. Nothing. Plus 8 life. Goodbye. Goodbye. Plus 1, yes. Oh, man. I hope we get something decent. If that had a resist on it, maybe it could sell. We're not in an ES meta, though. Rarity isn't very important. It's a low flat fizz. And not a very high end roll, so overall pretty bad. And again, leave a comment in the description, or in the comment section. Not in the description. It's my job to change that. Leave a comment in the comment section below the video if I'm going too slow or too fast. So far we've got like a potentially 1 chaos item, which is not great, but most of your money is going to come from like 1 through 5C sales anyways, so let's keep going though. Hopefully I didn't pick up any more tornado wands. It's not a very good base. Not a terrible base, but For wands, you generally just want to pick up the absolute best bases, because you're not going to get a lot of good wands. And Prophecy is a good wand. It has good spell damage implicit. I think the best spell damage implicit. So, you're looking for Prophecy wands here. If you want spell damage, that's a decent fire damage to spells roll, I think, but that's not super important for most builds, and you don't want resists. It's an okay cold damage roll, but nothing else. You want attack speed is pretty key on siege axes. Cast speed is pretty key on Prophecy wands. Attack speed, crit, multi, flat fizz, these are all pretty key on imbued wands. I didn't get any of those. Low life roll, especially for a chest piece. Decent resists and fire damage. If this had life on it or a lot of ES, that could be worth something. It's got half the package. Movement speed, nothing else. No spell damage mods, no cast speed mods. Some crit strike for spells, but no physical damage mods, which is what you're really looking for in imbued wands. I've talked a lot about imbued wands on this series. Good spell damage, nothing else. Yeah, absolutely nothing. Not very synergistic. Well, yeah, not good enough. I mean, if that were a third damage prop that's synergized, like attack speed with maces, melee fizz while holding a shield. There's not many one-hand maces built out there, though. Yeah, not even. On second thought, nothing to speak of. Good amount of stats, nothing else. The mana and ES rolls are both way too low. If those mana and ES rolls had been decent, we could sell this. Because with the implicit, the strength, the dex, that's a lot of stats. And a mind over matter ES build that can afford to just have one resist on this slot could actually make really good use of that if those rolls were better. And you're bad. One last go. I've actually started picking up tower shields because they have a life implicit now, and shields can be pretty good. I got this bad boy doing that, and that's a lot of life. It's actually not that good of a shield otherwise. It's got okay resists, but it's got a lot of life, and that's what I needed at the time. My resists were doing just fine, so. Eventually I'll be replacing this with a Rise of the Phoenix and going Righteous Fire. If you're interested in my build, though, you can always tune into my stream or catch my build guide when I post it in probably about a week or two. Good life roll, decent resist, reduced flash charges used. Bad base, though. This is a contender for being Vol'd. After I've made like some starting money and I don't need to get quick sales, I'll Vol things like this. We're actually going to Vol this belt, which is nice. Good to see that. Duration, strength, life. Like this could sell for 1 chaos really early in a league. Could even sell for 1 chaos now. Yeah, we'll put that up for 1C. I think that has room for a resist. So we got a pair of decent belts. It's a lot of life, especially with the strength. So bricky otherwise, though. Well, Flask Effect Duration is again good, but 5 ES and stun threshold. I don't know. We'll put that up for 1C. I doubt it'll sell, but maybe someone just needs a ton of life out of their belt slot. Not very good. And not very good. Okay, so 3 decent belts, 2 of which we'll just list for chaos, and 1 of which we're going to be voling. No, like this is also not a bad belt to vol, but this one's better. It's got a resist, it's got flask charges mod, it's got good life. This gets +1 endurance charges, suddenly it's really valuable. So, nothing happened. We can still sell it for like 2 or 3C. We'll put it up for 3 to start. And one thing that I like to do is, a lot of your items that you list even won't sell, like 1%, maybe less than that of the things you pick up are going to make you money. But you need to be picking up a lot of stuff. So over time, what I'll do is I'll take everything in the 1 chaos, like tomorrow morning, I'm going to take everything in the 1 chaos tab and just vendor it. Everything from 2 goes down to 1. Everything from 3 goes down to 2. 4 goes down to 3. 5 goes down to 4. And things in here get priced individually. So that is a good thing to do if you have the tabs to be able to do it. And even if you don't, even if you just have 1 tab, you should manually be lowering your prices at least once a day, more frequently early in a league when there's a large player base. So a nice little tip to leave you with on the way out. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Price Check. The next one will be coming out 2 days from now. I upload these every other day. And if you're interested in hearing more of my voice or watching my build in action or just coming and pointing and laughing at me for some reason, then you can join me and my small little community of friends over at twitch.tv/Octavian0. You can find a link to that in the description if you don't want to manually type it out, you lazy jerk. Also, you can always hit subscribe to this channel for more Price Check episodes if that's what floats your boat. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you next time, or maybe when you catch me streaming. Either way, though, I am out for the night. Y'all have a good one.